On this edition of the Left Bench TV, we'll bid farewell to Maryland women's basketball as they depart College Park for the Big Ten tournament and see how one of their star players is making an impact off the floor.
Plus, we'll take you through the dominant starts of the year for Maryland men's and women's lacrosse and get you ready for their upcoming matchups.
Finally, we'll talk to former Terp and Super Bowl champion Jake Funk about his journey from Damascus, Maryland to the biggest stage in pro sports. The Left Bench TV starts now.
Hello and welcome back to the Left Bench TV, your sideline source for all things Maryland sports. I'm Stephen Mehling.
And I'm Katie Maher. What a week it's been for your Terps. National champions return to College Park, women's basketball is getting ready for the postseason, and both lacrosse teams are heating up right now. You're
right, Katie. College Park has had quite a lot going on. We're going to start with those national champions who made their return on Sunday and ignited a spark. Maryland men's basketball last played Ohio State about 3 weeks ago, and it ended in a tragic defeat. But powered by the return of Coach Gary Williams and the rest of the 2002 national champions in a very loud Xfinity Center, the Terps upset the 22nd-ranked Buckeyes, moving them to 14-15 on the regular season. Fats Russell, Eric Ayala, and Dante Scott gave the Terps all the juice they needed. Maryland started with an 8-0 run and capitalized off of Russell's 2000th career point. The Buckeyes eventually caught up, but only held a 2-point lead for a short while in that first half, and that was the last time they controlled the board. Coming out of the locker room up by 4, the Terps ran away with it in the second half, shooting 46% from the field by the end. Russell notched a season-high 27 points. Ayala made that hand injury he's been battling look like absolute history, adding 23 to the board and 3 steals, and Scott's clutch offensive rebounding in the second half was key in the win. Here's Russell on how the 2002 national champs' return sparked something extra in the team.
Their presence was just like, you felt their presence in there. They came in the locker room, and, Coach Williams said a couple words, and, he gave us motivation. And, when he talks, everybody listens because that's a legendary coach. And, just seeing all the guys walk in there, Steve Blake, Lon Dixon, and, all of them, it was just like, we went out there just trying not to disappoint them. And, it was a legendary night, and I'm glad we fought as hard as we did to get the win.
Stephen, I think the best part of that day yesterday, we were both there, but they had a Legends chat right before the game started, and Coach Gary Williams, the whole team was back, and Coach Gary Williams started tearing up, just talking about how much he loves Maryland basketball as a whole. You can't ask for much better than that on the day that they come back to College Park. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a great day overall. Fats Russell shoots 6 of 10 from 3, and they hold Ohio State star E.J. Liddell to under 15 points. And they secured that victory for the national champs who came back for that day, so it was a pretty special day in College Park. Absolutely. But Katie, I hear there's another team that had a huge win in Xfinity Center over the weekend. Well, Stephen, I think calling Maryland women's basketball getting revenge over 10th-ranked Indiana a huge win would be an understatement in my opinion. The now 11th-ranked Terps fell to the Hoosiers by 7 points in overtime back in January, and like I said, they were out for revenge on Friday night. Guards Cheyenne Seller and Diamond Miller contributed early on and gave Coach Brenda FRESE solid minutes throughout the game. But the X factor of the game was none other than forward Angel Reese, who was able to score 20 points and grab 16 boards off the glass. Reese went down late in the third quarter with an apparent nose injury, but she would return. Point guard Katie Benson delivered some late-game heroics as she led the Terps to the 67-64 victory, knocking down a clutch floater. That was Maryland's final regular season game, and now they'll try to defend their Big Ten tournament crown. Here's head coach Brenda FRESE on the status of her team heading into the postseason.
Again, when you talk about how we're playing, we've won 9 of our last 10. We were 14-1 this year at home. All of our losses this year, 6 of the 7 were on the road, all against top 30 teams. So, this team is battle tested. They didn't even flinch when the game got close. They're have been through all these kind of matchups. And right now, they're one of the best teams in the country, trending at the right time.
Now, Katie, Brenda FRESE's squad has always been putting out a great product year in and year out, and there's a reason why they're consistently ranked in the top 25, and right now they're heating up at just the right time. Absolutely, and postseason, that's their favorite time of the year. Oh, for sure. March is right around the corner, and the Big Ten has released its bracket for the women's tournament, which will take place this weekend in Indianapolis. The Terps will be the 4 seed, meaning they've secured a first-round bye, effectively setting up the team for a rematch against the 3rd-seeded Hoosiers in the quarterfinals.
And we know all about the magical season that Angel Reese is having for this team. She's averaging a double-double, leading the Big Ten in rebounds, and now she's a Naismith Defensive Player of the Year semifinalist. But as fierce as the sophomore is on the floor, she makes up for it with her kindness off the floor. TLB's Kevin McNulty has the story.
8-year-old Kylie Krobozinski loves cheering on Maryland women's basketball.
She's really good at playing basketball, and she's very good with her teammates.
Kylie's talking about her favorite player, sophomore forward Angel Reese. On February 6th, Kylie, her sister, and her dad Roy watched Maryland defeat Nebraska. At halftime, Kylie was able to get a high five from Reese. Then after the game, she got something even better.
I was very happy.
Reese signed a poster Kylie had made, and her dad took to Twitter to thank Reese for her kindness.
Having players like Angel Reese being so open and personable and willing to, give of themselves and then their time to encourage younger fans to keep up with it, and hearing that message from her, I mean, that means the world.
Seeing a bit of herself in young Kylie, Reese recalls the days when she was the one asking Maryland players for autographs.
I didn't really have that many people to look up to when I was younger, and being able to even come here to College Park, I always tried to get an autograph from Kyla Charles, get one from Melissa Thomas, so I felt like it was kind of a special moment for me.
And this second-year phenom, who's averaging almost 18 points per game this season, hardly ever thinks twice about signing an autograph, especially after a win.
Even after a tired loss or after a win, I'm always going to have the same attitude because I don't know how it could impact someone else, even though if I'm down or I'm having a good day.
It's a great example for my daughter.
For the Left Bench TV, I'm Kevin McNulty.
You know, Stephen, I think my favorite part about that story, obviously Kevin did a great job, but is the fact that a young girl has an incredible female athlete to look up to.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Maryland women's basketball has a lot of people that are just really kind on and off the court. They're great players, and they are role models, like you mentioned. And it's really nice to see, these players giving back and these young fans being able to have a really good experience at the game.
Absolutely, and you love to see fans go into Xfinity Center games for Maryland women's basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And we also had another winter team close out its regular season last weekend, and that would be Maryland wrestling. Stephen, how did the Terps end things?
Well, Katie, the Terps season is close to an end, but a special senior night in College Park gave them a positive finish at home. Now, while they did go winless against Big Ten opponents, Maryland finished its regular season with a 7-12 record, ending with back-to-back wins over Columbia and American. That Columbia match made a memorable senior night for Coach Clemson's squad. All 5 seniors who were honored beforehand earned victories. It was a particularly successful season for redshirt senior Kyle Cochran. The Paramus, New Jersey native closed out his dual season ranked 8th in the nation by Intermat, the highest ranking of his career. Next up, the Terps head out to Lincoln, Nebraska this weekend for the Big Ten Championships, an event where Cochran won twice last year. Now, Katie, it's really special to see Coach Clemson has a team that's obviously trending upward. I mean, the Big Ten Conference is not really that easy to be in when you're talking about wrestling. They got some powerhouses out in the Midwest. So it's really cool to see where this team could be heading in future years.
Yeah, absolutely. The Big Ten is known for its wrestling between Iowa, Penn State, all those programs, but they had some great non-conference wins this season, and that speaks a lot about where the culture's going. And we do still have a winter team with quite a bit left on their schedule, and I'm talking about Maryland Gymnastics. The Terps had their work cut out for them in the annual Big 5 meet on February 18th, going up against 4 ranked conference opponents and placing last in the meet. Their fate remained the same in Happy Valley against Penn State on Saturday, but they still produced good numbers, especially on the bars. Maryland has been strong on bars all season, and this time around, everyone notched above a 9.7, earning a 49.025 for the event. Audrey Barber led on all 4 events, which included a 9.875 on the vault. She's now in second place on the program's all-time scoring list and has been named a nominee for the AAI Award, given to the nation's most outstanding senior. Emma Silberman, who's finally back in the all-around after recovering from an ACL injury, notched a 38.75 in the all-around. The Terps were strong on the floor and beam, but it wasn't enough to take down the Nittany Lions, falling 196.25 to 195.425.
We are now so excited to be joined by Maryland Gymnastics head coach Brett Nelligan to talk more about the team.
Yes, we are. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, first things first, we have to talk about that huge win over then number 6 Minnesota on Valentine's Day. Your team earned 196.7, your 4th highest score in program history. What was that night like for you guys?
Just an incredible night, and I was really pleased for the team. They work so hard. This is a really special group of athletes, and they come in every day and train exceptionally hard. So for us to go out and get that win against such a big team was it was a moment that they'll remember forever.
Now, of course, there's Audrey Barber, a star in the all-around who came back for her 5th season, and she's about to take the crown for the all-time leading scorer in program history. Can you talk a little bit about her role on the team and how you've seen her grow over the years?
Yeah, she's just an incredible athlete. You know, when they say, what is Audrey like, that she's just a winner. Right, she just has it in her DNA. She knows how to win. She knows how to get the job done. And coming back this 5th year wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy decision for her. It's a tremendous amount physically to endure doing a 5th year of gymnastics. But she came back. She's probably in the prime of her career. And then for her to be on pace to take this scoring title is really special because she's, you know, an in-state Maryland kid. And I'm so happy to see that scoring title. I mean, it's 20 years it's been standing. So for her to take that title is really special.
Yeah, I've loved covering her for the last few years, so she's an awesome athlete to cover.
Yep.
And you guys are now 5-7 on the season. You've still got 4 very winnable meets up ahead. What are you most looking forward to over the next few months?
You know, I want to see us put it all together. I still don't think we've peaked yet. We've had some really good meets, and that's crazy to say we beat number 6 Minnesota, but we haven't peaked, right? We haven't been our best, and we're getting a few people back. Reese McClure's been out, and she was a Big Ten gymnast to watch early on in the season. We've got her back on beam only, but we're hoping this weekend to see her back on floor, which she's a crowd favorite on floor.
She really is.
Yeah. Now, Coach, you're a Maryland native, and you've lived in College Park for years, so we figured you'd be the perfect person to do some Maryland sports trivia with. Does that sound good for you?
I will do my best.
So, Maryland Gymnastics set a season high on February 14th against Minnesota and Pitt with a score of 196.7, as Katie mentioned before. Now, the program's all-time high team score came back in 2004, back when your father was coaching the program. And the team scored a 197.325. Do you know who that meet was against?
Stanford.
Yeah, that is correct. Wow.
I was on command.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there. I'll never forget that night. That was my first year as an assistant coach.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, were you watching as a fan or assistant coach?
No,
but
my
that's
first
awesome.
year on his staff. So it was really special that we could kind of do that one together.
Awesome.
Okay.
And now we've got one that's not gymnastics related,
Okay.
still Maryland related. Queen Elizabeth II attended her first American football game at UMD.
Yep.
What year was that game in?
Oh my gosh.
It's a hard one.
I have no idea. 1967.
Easier.
Very. You were one digit off. 1957.
Oh wow, that far back? Yeah. Okay.
She's been around for a while.
Okay. Okay.
Now, a common tradition that students enjoy at basketball games inside the Xfinity Center, obviously, is the flag drop in the second half of the game.
Yep.
When it happens, the flag is dropped to a famous theme song from a very popular movie. Now, this is before the flag is dropped, so it's not Turbulence. But do you know what movie that the theme is from?
Isn't there's a whole compilation of movies, right?
Yep.
Hoosiers is in there? Is that one?
Hoosiers in there, but do you know what, like, the track for before the flag drops, before they play Turbulence? Like
Where it's
that,
very like out of this world sounding.
Yeah.
I can't say it. I have no idea.
It was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, Space Odyssey.
I didn't even know the answer to that question.
That was my hard. That was one of my harder ones.
Okay,
I'm gonna be
that was
honest
tough.
with you.
That was
That's
tough.
okay. Honestly, that's not that bad. You went 1 for 3. You got the question that I really thought that was gonna be a hard one, but you got it right off the net.
I remember that night.
So,
Yep.
Oh man. Well, the Terps will be back in action on Thursday at 6 p.m. for the Temple Quad Meet, and they'll be back home on Sunday to host the Maryland Quad Meet.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us again. And when we come back, we've got former Maryland running back Jake Funk calling in to recap his first season in the NFL and talk about winning it all with the Rams. Stay tuned.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos. Lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda, poco a poco, aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to the Left Bench TV. And boy, do we got something good for you guys.
We're now joined by former Maryland running back and current LA Rams running back Jake Funk. Jake, thanks so much for joining us virtually today.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Now, Jake, between being labeled a 2-star recruit, then 2 ACL tears, and a shortened COVID season, you've battled quite a lot of adversity to get to the NFL, but you did it, and you saw quite a bit of playing time, especially on special teams this season. Can you sum up what this first season as a pro has meant to you?
I mean, it's meant everything. This year was a dream come true just to be able to play an NFL game. And then on top of that, the journey that we took to be able to win a Super Bowl, it all just was everything I've ever dreamed of, and it just meant the world to me.
And you've been dealing with some injuries throughout this season, so even though you weren't active for the actual Super Bowl, you were still there on the field. Can you kind of take us through what that night was like for you?
It was insane. Seeing our team win the way that we won within the last drive of the game, and just seeing the pure joy that a bunch of my teammates were having, and we got to experience it all together. It just meant everything. Just being able to live out a dream, and for guys, you know, we work very hard to be able to win a championship, and there's a lot of time and effort put in behind the scenes that people don't see. That goes into that, and just to see it all pay off, it meant the world.
Now, looking forward, you've still got a big career in front of you. What are you most looking forward to in the league after such a great first year?
I would just say just continuing to get better. That's been my motto since I could remember, was just get better every day. You know, they make mental and physical gains within the game and continue to just grow as a player. And really, I mean, you know, I've won Lombardi now, and it's time to just chase more and chase as many as you can with this organization. And whatever happens in the future with my career happens, you know, and just kind of just continuing to just worry about myself and worry about what I can do today to improve down the line.
Yeah, 1 Lombardi trophy already. That's not too bad of a first season in the NFL. All right, Jake, well, that's all the time we have for you today, but we appreciate you joining us, and we wish you the best of luck with the rest of your NFL career.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Now, Maryland men's lacrosse bought themselves to 4-0 this past weekend as they took down the Princeton Tigers 15-10. The offense was led by none other than Logan Wisnauskas and Jonathan DONVILLE, each scoring 4 apiece. Wisnauskas tallied up 6 points in the game, bringing him to 262, surpassing Matt Rambo's 257 to make him second on Maryland's all-time list. Another standout was Luke Weirman at the face-off, winning 19 of 27 draws and scoring 2 goals of his own. The Tigers' Sam English put on a show for Princeton, also notching 4 goals. But the Terps' defense stayed strong, forcing 12 turnovers, making it tough for the Tigers to break through them. Here's head coach John Tillman after the win.
Just would have loved to have kind of taken some of those and produce more goals, but you kind of have to give their goalie credit. I thought he was outstanding. He was good on film, and he was good today. So happy to get a win. Certainly a lot to work on, but a lot to be proud of with this group. Just continuing to share the ball on offense and playing together defensively.
The Terps will be in South Bend this Saturday to take on Notre Dame. And Stephen, the last time these two met was in the 2021 NCAA tournament, and Maryland took that one 14-13 in overtime.
Yeah, Katie, I remember watching that one at home, and I was on the edge of my couch the entire time. And, you know, it looks like John Tillman's squad is heading back to the NCAA Final Four. At least that's the way it's trending so far this season.
Oh, 100%. On the edge of your couch, not on the edge of your seat?
No, to my couch for sure.
And I heard the women's team isn't doing so bad either this season.
You're definitely right, Katie. We're now a couple weeks into lax season at Maryland, and the women's team has also hit the ground running. Complementing that strong win from the men's team, Kathy Reese's squad had a top 10 matchup on Saturday when the 7th-ranked Florida Gators came to College Park. The stands were packed for the home opener on Saturday, and the Terps did not disappoint, breaking records and beating the Gators 18-8. The last time the Gators were in College Park was in 2020 when they ended Maryland's 86-game winning streak at home. But the 5th-ranked Terps seemed unfazed as they came out of the gates. By wearing out Florida's tough defense, the Terps dominated the first quarter 7-1. But the Gators fought back in the second quarter, shrinking the Terps' lead to just 3. ELOISE CLEVENGER's goal set the tone for the remainder of the game as Maryland's attack regained their momentum. The Terps stayed consistent in the second half and maintained their lead. And to top it all off, graduate student Aurora Cordingley made history, becoming the highest single-game scorer for Maryland since 2013 with a career-high 10 points. Now the Terps have a quick turnaround as they'll welcome their neighbors to the East in Delaware tonight at 5 p.m. And TLB's Lauren Hafner will have the coverage from the Plex. And now Kathy Reese's squad is no stranger to senior leadership on that team. It has been that leadership that's built the foundation for such a strong program here in College Park. And you can't talk leadership without talking about Grace Griffin.
That's right, Stephen. Griffin is no stranger to being recognized for her accomplishments, and this season is no different. It's 2022, and number 22 is making history for the Maryland women's lacrosse program. TLB's Alexa Wooten has more on Griffin's historic accomplishment.
Grace Griffin's had an outstanding career playing Division I women's college lacrosse. From starting as a freshman and being named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, to winning a national championship as a sophomore, and being named All-Conference and All-American and a Touriton nominee, Griffin has seen every height of a successful college career. But what makes Griffin stand out is not just her skill or her success, but her character and the leadership she has brought to the Terps. Griffin is the first ever three-year captain in the history of the women's lacrosse program here at the University of Maryland.
She's just a phenomenal person, you know, and I think, yeah, your field accolades can speak for yourself, right? That doesn't make you good in other areas. But for her, she's been a part of a national championship team. She's been a part of the heartbreak on the other end of it. She's been a part of a team where the season was cut short as our team was really young and we were starting to build and grow. And she's been a part of where we're a conference only competition. So to be a leader during that time, I think has brought out the best in her.
The culture of the women's lacrosse program is to make each other better. When they come to practice to prepare for their next competition, it's not about what their opponents are doing. It's about what they're doing to make themselves better, to be the best. Bringing 5 years of experience with her, Griffin brings this mentality every single time she steps on the field by uplifting all those around her.
Grace has just done a really good job rising to the top. She cares about everybody. And I think that's what makes her a really special leader is she's out there, not afraid to step on the field and do the right thing and do the right thing off the field, but also to bring other people with her.
Grace is like someone that I definitely look up to. Everything that she's done for the program. I mean, she's been playing since her freshman year and she's been a huge part of the team since her freshman year. So it's someone that everyone almost looks up to, everyone trusts, and she's probably the most generous person when it comes to kind of helping you out. She's always there, whether it's like running with you, whether it's giving you advice, kind of pumping you up for a game. She's always been there for me, especially throughout my 3 years, and I'm definitely lucky to have a captain like her.
Griffin is a part of a long line of great leaders for the women's lacrosse program. It has been playing with such great teammates and captains that Griffin has learned how to be a leader herself. As she continues to lead this team, she looks to instill the same confidence that was instilled by those above her and her teammates now.
Knowing that your teammates have more confidence in you than you could ever have in yourself is one of the best feelings in the world. That if something goes wrong, they're there for you, knowing you'll have the next one. They believe in you as a player. They trust you as a player. And that trust and that confidence is something that's contagious. So learning that from them, and that it's bigger than sport, right? It's not just what happens on the field. It's everything outside of it that's going to lead to the overall team experience, your overall best 4 years of your life here at Maryland.
For the Left Bench TV, I'm Alexa Wooten.
Thank you, Alexa, for that story. And it seems like College Park is the right place to be for spring sports because Maryland baseball is off to its best start in program history after beginning the 2022 season at 7-0. Now, going into the second week of spring baseball, the Terps are ranked number 21 in the country. Maryland has already taken down Baylor, UMBC, and Campbell. Games highlighted by explosive offense and strong showings on the mound. With the Terps' latest win against Campbell, Coach Rob Vaughn secured his 100th win with the Terrapin squad after just 5 seasons at the helm. Maryland will be relying on Jason Savacool, Nick Dean on the mound, and sophomore Matt Shaw to keep this momentum rolling. The Terps will next take on Delaware at 4 p.m. today and open Big Ten play against Michigan in Ann Arbor on Friday at noon. Now, I'm sure everyone at home knows we just wrapped up the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, and the U.S. had its fair share of gold medals. And one of those medals came courtesy of some Maryland-grown talent.
TLB's Alana Mutnick joins us in the studio to tell you all about the impact 2 Maryland athletes had on this year's Olympics. Alana?
Yeah, guys, the talk of this year's Olympics was obviously U.S. standout Nathan Chen, but there were some other great athletes under the radar in other sports that came right from this state. From winning gold medals to breaking world records, Olympians bring a great sense of community and pride and world-class talent to their nation as they compete and represent in their countries. In this year's 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, 2 Olympians on Team USA had Maryland in their blood. 27-year-old Luger Summer-Britcher was born in Baltimore, and 28-year-old freestyle skier Ashley Caldwell is a Montgomery County native. And Caldwell is no stranger to gold medals. She's a 4-time Olympian and 1-time gold medalist, which she brought home on February 10th in the mixed team aerials event. She also ranked 4th in individual women's aerials in 2022, along with sticking the landing of a back full. That's 3 full rotations in a triple backflip. Caldwell made her Olympic debut in 2010 when she was only 17 years old, to which she made it to the finals of the aerials competition. Aside from the Olympics, Caldwell has world championship experience dating back all the way to 2011, in which she earned 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze medal. However, her best finish was in 2017 at the World Championships, where she took gold in aerials, right after becoming the first female skier to land a quadruple twisting triple backflip. And if that wasn't impressive enough, Caldwell was also named to the U.S. team for the 2010 Olympics in January, after competing in freestyle skiing for only 2 seasons, and she was the youngest in her round. Speaking of young experience, Summer Britcher was the youngest woman in Team USA during the 2014 Olympic Games in Sochi. The 3-time Olympian started luge when she was only 11 years old and has been a gold medalist dating all the way back to 2010 in the Germany Junior World Cup. Britcher's 5 individual World Cup career victories make her the all-time singles leader in USA luge history. And not only did she graduate in 2012, but she also won a gold medal that same year in the team relay at the Youth Winter Olympics. Speaking of the Olympics, Britcher competed in 2014, 2018, and placed 23rd in singles in this year's Olympics. And listen to this. She competed with a broken middle finger from a crash at an event in Latvia just less than a month before the Olympic Games started. Clearly, that didn't stop her, because she then helped her team to 4th place. Possessing undeniable talent, these 2 Olympians have made not only the U.S. proud, but the state of Maryland even prouder. So we know this year had a lot of great action in Beijing, but my personal favorite would definitely have to be watching Eileen Gu win gold in the freestyle halfpipe, and then again crushing her run in big air. What about you guys?
That's awesome. Mine was, we talked about it before, Nathan Chen. How can you not love the guy? He's the quad king.
Nathan Chen is pretty good, but have you taken a look at the U.S. curling team? They might not have won gold, but these guys look like 4 dads who went on a getaway weekend, but just ended up in Beijing by the end of the time. So I'm really excited to see how U.S. curling takes it to new levels in coming years.
All right, Stephen Mehling, curling's #1 fan in the U.S.
For sure.
Thank you, Alana. Maryland women's tennis is currently on a 6-game winning streak, and each of those last 6 matchups have been a strong team effort. That team consists of a majority of players from outside the U.S.
That's right, Katie. 5 of the 9 starters from Maryland are internationals. TLB'S Jonas Evans has more on student athletes adjusting to life in the U.S.
In America, there's so many more players, like compared to back home in England. Like, you're playing the same people all the time. So I think that was also really nice.
For some of the athletes on Maryland women's tennis, the university has provided an opportunity to experience American tennis and culture for the first time.
The American coaches focus on a lot on positivity and like positive self-talk on the court, which it's not something, at least for me, very common, like in Europe.
Selma Kadar from Bucharest, Romania, is one of 5 international athletes on a team of 9. That majority of players from outside the states results in a uniquely diverse locker room.
Personally, I love like the fact that there's a lot of internationals, because they you can relate to them a lot more, and like kind of everyone's far from home, like everyone's going through the same stuff, so it's easy to kind of build those connections and like just get closer together.
Even though we're coming from very different backgrounds, I think it can also like help us to be like very strong and like have different perspective, different game styles, different mentalities. And I think we all do a very well job of like being united as a team, even though like we're very different from very different backgrounds.
Settling into the U.S. brought many culture shocks along the way.
I think it's also a different setting, like playing in a team environment, whereas like when I was younger, like I would just play for myself, and now like you're actually like playing for the team. So I mean, like it can add pressure to yourself and like trying to do like better, not just for me but for the team. But I don't know, I mean, I would say I've really enjoyed myself and like the time that I've been here.
For the Left Bench TV, I'm Jonas Evans.
Thank you, Jonas. Now, we've gone over so much Maryland news, and somehow we've still got so much more, including a new game we like to call Two Truths and a Lie, Maryland Sports Edition.
That's right. We still do have more. It's been a lot. And we'll talk about Terps and Major League Soccer and, of course, go over your top 5 plays of the week, Terp of the week, and Pro Terp. Don't go anywhere.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back once again to the Left Bench TV. This weekend, the country welcomed back Major League Soccer.
Yes, they did. And TLB's Matthew News joins us now to tell you all about how your former Terps have been doing in the MLS. Matthew?
That's right, guys. The season is well and truly back, and there were just some great games over the weekend this past weekend. It's no secret that Maryland soccer is one of the best programs in the country at developing talent for the next stage, and many former Terps began their seasons this past weekend. First, we have to mention the 2021 First-Team All-American and Big Ten Midfielder of the Year, Ben Bender. The former Terp is embarking on his first season in Major League Soccer after being just the 3rd Terp ever selected in first overall in the MLS Super Draft. Bender is coming off his best season here in College Park, appearing in every single game for Sasha's squad. Last season, Bender contributed 7 goals and 5 assists, and that's why it was no secret that he was selected first overall by newly founded Charlotte FC. He made his MLS debut on Saturday in D.C., coming on as a substitute in the 78th minute of Charlotte's inaugural game. Now, when you talk about MLS veterans, one player that always comes to mind is Graham Zusi. Entering his 14th season at Sporting Kansas City, the 2008 Maryland graduate is staying in KC after signing an extension for the 2022 season. The 7-time MLS All-Star has spent his entire career in the Sporting Blue of Kansas City, and he is looking to improve upon a solid 2021 season. Zusi helped Kansas City to 6 clean sheets last season, and he also added a goal and an assist in Kansas City's playoff run to the Western Conference semifinals, where he played a full 90 minutes in both games. Zusi's season started on Sunday when he played a full 90 minutes in a 3-1 loss. And last but certainly not least is current Portland Timber midfielder Eric Williamson. The former Big Ten Midfielder of the Year back in 2017 arrived on the West Coast after a trade from DC United in 2018. Williamson certainly made a name for himself out in Portland, helping the Timbers get to the MLS playoffs the past 2 seasons. Williamson is coming off a shortened season after suffering an ACL tear back in August. But before his injury, Williamson appeared in 14 games for the Timbers and tallied a goal and 2 assists. Although he was out for the latter part of Portland's MLS Western Conference winning season, Williamson earned his first career cap when he was called up for U.S. Soccer's Gold Cup run over the summer. Williamson didn't appear in Portland's 2-2 draw to open the season on Saturday as he continues to rehab his injury from last season. Although we only had time to talk about 3 players, there are dozens of pro Terps making names for themselves in the MLS. If one thing's for certain, it's that Maryland soccer knows how to produce players for the next level. Now guys, one thing to look out for this season, 2 former Terps, AJ De La Garza and Omar Gonzalez, teaming back up in Foxborough for New England. They played here together in 2008 and back playing again in Foxborough this season.
All right, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. I don't really follow the MLS that much, never been a big soccer person, although I did play when I was 6. But one thing I love is pro Terps, so got to keep an eye out.
Katie, were you riding the left bench? No pun intended, of course, but
I was the star goalie, excuse me.
Of course. I mean, I'm a fan of the Bundesliga myself, Matthew, but Sasha Surofsky really knows how to put his team on the next level and get them to that pro status. So thank you for that. Now, me and Katie have made you all wait long enough. It's finally time for your top 5 plays of the week.
We seriously had so much to choose from this week, but somehow we narrowed it down. And personally, this is my favorite top 5 we've done all season. So,
well, we'll start it off with the Plex, where attacker ELOISE CLEVENGER finds the net in their rout of Florida. CLEVENGER had 2 goals on the day for the Terps.
And now across the parking lot to Xfinity Center, Fats Russell sends it over to big man Kudus Wahab, and Wahab slams it in. This dunk early in the game had the building going absolutely crazy. Let's watch it again in slow-mo. Look at that.
I mean, Kudus with a slam, that place is electric after that. Now on the women's side of the court, BRENDA FRESE's squad is heating up before the Big Ten tournament. Here's Cheyenne Sellers navigating the traffic jam for the bucket. Sellers and company heading to Indianapolis with a first-round bye as the 4 seed in the tournament.
Now to Capital One Field for your number 2 play, and it's from Cornell transfer Jonathan Donville, diving to get a shot in the net for the Terps. Let's watch that again in slow-mo because we love slow-mo. Absolutely unreal from the grad student. He's been quite the addition for the Terps this season.
Oh, for sure. And the moment you've all been waiting for. Your top play of the week is Dante Scott with one of those offensive rebounds we were talking about before. Xavier Green's shot misses, but never fear when Dante Scott is here. Scott grabs it, throws it back in, and flexes on the Buckeyes.
Now staying on the Xfinity Center hardwood, who else could we have picked for our Terp of the week other than Fats Russell? You could even make a case for him being our Terp of the month. Russell has arguably been the best player for Maryland throughout February. After Sunday's season-high 27 points, he's now scored in double figures in 11 straight games, with 6 of those being 20 points or more. Russell has been the Terps' most clutch player when they need him most, and he's certainly been playing like the guy we all expected him to see him as on the court this season. Congrats to Fats on being our Terp of the week.
Now, while we've been very busy keeping up with everything happening in the worlds of Maryland sports, we can't deny that it's a slow time of year for the major pro sports leagues. So that's why for this week's Pro Terp, we're honoring one of our own. TLB TV alumnus Noah Gross is moving up the television ranks this week. After 2+ years covering sports in Abilene, Texas, our former executive producer will be joining the sports department at KXAN in Austin. We're so happy for Noah and all of our TLB alums making waves in the sports media business.
And we are now pleased to welcome in the Wright brothers with a W, our men's basketball beat reporters Noah Ferguson and Logan Hill.
Noah and Logan, thank you for being here once again. We had a blast playing Who Said What with Noah last time, but today we're going to play a little game of 2 truths and a lie.
How this will work is our executive producer, Kevin McNulty, is going to read us 2 truths and a lie from back in the control room, and Steven and I will be going head-to-head with Noah and Logan, trying to guess the lie. Kevin, start us off.
All right, guys, 2 truths and a lie, starting with the men's basketball team. Number 1, Eric Ayala tied his career high in steals during the team's win over Ohio State on Sunday. Number 2, Fats Russell leads the Terps in three-point percentage this season at 35%. And number 3, the 2021-22 team has 4 players born outside of the United States. Which one's the lie?
Okay. You guys can go first.
No.
It's your show. We wanted to give you.
Okay,
of course.
we'll take one for the team. Yeah. Okay, we think the last one is a lie
It's number
about
4, my
foreign
lord.
players. We think it's 3 players.
3 players.
That's
What do
the
you
lie.
think?
What do you think?
We think the first one is a lie.
Kevin.
I know it's not a lie.
And you guys are both wrong. Fats Russell and Akeem Hart are both at 35% this season.
We were
See,
actually.
I knew that Eric tied his career high.
So, we were actually trying to give you guys the first one, so we said
Oh,
it wrong
yeah.
on purpose.
Oh, right.
But
Yeah.
then you guys folded and still got it wrong, so I mean,
Yeah.
oh well. But
Okay.
it wasn't
Next-
the
The
that
right
was a
bench,
warm-up
so
anyway.
nice.
Next one, Kevin, please.
All right, guys, now 2 truths and a lie from women's basketball. Number 1, Angel Reese is currently ranked 2nd in the country with 5.5 offensive rebounds per game. Number 2, Friday's win over Indiana was Brenda FRESE's 25th win over a top 10 team in her 20 years coaching the team. And number 3, the Terps have 5 players on their current roster averaging over 30 minutes per game. Which one is the lie?
Now you can go. Ladies
You go
first.
first.
We're gonna go with.
The first one.
That is also what we are going
That's
with.
what we
We're
said.
going number 1. I think she's first
Yeah,
in
we
the
think she's
first in
Yeah.
the nation. Yeah.
Angel's a dog.
Actually, number 1 is true, and the lie is number 3. The Terps only have 2 players on their current roster, averaging over 30 minutes a game.
Oh, well, Ashley has been out a while.
Ashley has been out.
And
Yeah.
so's Diamond. That makes sense. Okay, well, this is I guess whoever gets this one wins.
Yeah, this is for all the marbles.
If we don't get any of these right, do we have to quit?
I
Yes.
think we do. I think
I'm
we
firing
effectively
you.
resign immediately.
I'm firing them.
We gotta trademark the Wright brothers.
Oh, you're right.
All right, Kevin,
right,
hit
Kevin.
us with the last one.
Take us home.
All right, guys, and now 2 truths and a lie from men's lacrosse. Number 1, Jonathan Donville leads Maryland in points this year with 12 goals and 2 assists. Number 2, the team's 15-10 win over Princeton was their 3rd win over a ranked team this season. And number 3, over the past 2 seasons in 21-22, the Terps have only 1 combined loss. Which is the lie?
We say the first one's a lie.
Number 1 is a lie.
Number 1
For
is,
show.
Number 1 is the
For
lie.
show.
For show?
For show.
Yeah, we agree.
Kevin?
Okay, both going with number 1, and you are both correct. Thank you for playing, and you both finished 1 for 3 in a draw.
Oh, good heavens.
Good game, guys.
Handshake?
Good game.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
Thank
you. Good game, Mr.
I guess that's going to do it for this edition of the Left Bench TV. Be sure to check us out on all of our coverage on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We'll see you next time.